This video is brought to you by Mobile Solutions. To celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Smart Frame System Axis Shape Creator template set, Mobile Solutions is currently offering CarAudioFabrication fans a limited time discount. Learn more down in the video description. So as you know, in custom car audio fabrication, I'm constantly using a router. And if you're not familiar with a router is basically a tool that spins a cutting bit and allows you to do all sorts of different things because of the selection of all sorts of different bits. Now for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been using this standalone router table that has a rout-r-lift built into the top of it. This table has treated me really well and I've loved using it, but it's time for a little bit of an upgrade. I've been working on renovating my workshop, and if you have a workshop like this, it can be really advantageous to have the router built into the top of a countertop. So in this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be adding 3 different router stations to the top of this counter. Let's get started. So first off, a big thanks to my show sponsor, Mobile Solutions, for providing the different equipment that I'm going to be using in this video. I actually did an unboxing of all this different stuff. You can check out that video up here. So to do this, we need a few different things. Of course, we're going to need the router itself, and in this case, I actually have it in a plunge mount base because I'm going to be using that in order to cut the hole, but ultimately this motor will be going in this router lift. Now the router lift allows us to control the height of the motor up and down within the table, and we can lock it in position and precisely adjust up and down. Next up, we have the Mobile Solutions cut template, and this is basically just a template that fits perfectly around this. So since this sits down flush in the table, we actually need to cut the hole this same outer dimension of the lift. Now because we don't want to cut that hole all the way through, we're going to be doing a couple of different cool router tricks that I'm going to show you guys. But for this, we need a few different router bits. First of all, we're going to need the dado bit, and then we're going to need a flush trim bit that has a larger bearing on it. Finally, we need this little plate. This is from Mobile Solutions as well. And what this is for is once we actually cut the hole down into the countertop, a lot of times countertops are made of like a chopped up wood material on the inside, and the lift has these set screws that are used for leveling. If you dig into that wood, it just doesn't level correctly. So this allows us to put this down in that hole, and then those set screws can touch off on an actual nice hard metal surface rather than the wood. So to get started, we're gonna put our countertop on top of a second work surface. For one of the steps of this process, I'll need to flip the countertop over, so we wanna make sure that we're not doing it mounted on top of the counters themselves. You may notice that I have already made one of the holes in the countertop. I just wanted to make sure that I really had the process down before I made it on video. So you can see now I'm carefully measuring out exactly where the cut template needs to go. Now the cut template does have some centering lines marked onto it, which makes it a little bit easier for locating it more accurately based on its center points. From the front edge of the countertop to where the hole will be, in my case, is about 6 inches. Once it's been carefully positioned, we trace the outline of the hole. Now this is a critical step when you're working with a countertop that has a laminated melamine style surface. What I'm doing here is I'm covering the surface with painter's tape and I'm overlapping the line that I just drew by about 1/8 of an inch. Once I start making a cut with the router, this tape will prevent tear out. It will prevent the top surface from fragmenting and breaking away. This will ultimately leave us with a really nice clean edge. Now it's kind of hard to tell, but I can still see through the tape, so I'm able to line up the metal piece. The inside perimeter of this metal piece will actually be the lip that the router lift will sit upon, so what I'm doing now is tracing that out. This inside line will serve as a guide to rough cut the countertop. Since I'll be doing that rough cutting with a jigsaw, I'm going to go ahead and drill a hole in each of the corners so that I can start my blade. While rough cutting, I leave about 1/8 inch gap. Next, I'm applying 3/4 inch strips of double-sided template tape. I only have one chance at cutting this countertop and doing it right, so I really want to make sure that the template stays in place. Now I've loaded a dado bit into my router, and what I'm doing here is I'm carefully adjusting and setting my stops for the depth of the plunge cut. Overall, I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch down into the surface, but I want to do it in small steps. Let's start with making the first pass. Honestly, this first pass is probably the most important because this is where you're really cutting through that top surface of the counter. It has to be perfect. Here you can see with the first pass, I rolled the bearing up against the template itself so it made this cut, but now we need to remove the rest of the material. I do this by carefully cutting it away freehand. After I finish this layer, I adjust my stop on my router plunge base so that I can go a little bit deeper into the wood. And then it's time to make another pass. Now I repeat this several times until I'm down to the full depth of a 1/2 inch. So here's the depth fully cut out, but you can see that that inside perimeter isn't perfect, and as of right now, the rout-r-lift wouldn't be able to fit inside the hole. This is where the flush trim bit with the oversized bearing will come into play. So first what we need to do here is remove the template and then pull away all the tape. Next, I'm going to flip the countertop over. Now it's kind of hard to see here, so I want to pull up the picture of the flush trim bit with the oversized bearing. What we're going to be doing here is basically copying the shape of that outer profile that we just made using the template, but in this case we're shrinking the hole size down because of this oversized bearing. Now that the cut is complete, you can see we have a nice smooth inside perimeter. Now all that I have left to do is to position my countertop in place and then mount it to the cabinets. So it's been a few days now since I started this project, and shoot, am I wearing the same shirt? But I do have to say I'm really enjoying this setup. Now, I do realize that this might be a little bit of overkill for the average do-it-yourselfer, but I know a lot of you guys that watch these videos are either in the car audio industry or you want to open your own shop. So I hope that you find these kind of videos helpful. So something I want to point out is even if you only had one station, you only had one router, one lift, one cabinet, and one little section of the slat wall, it would still be really powerful. What's nice about this kind of setup is we can lower the bits down into the table when we need to, if we need to use this as a work area. Also, everything is contained down inside, and it makes it really easy to make this bottom cabinet into a dust collection cabinet. We can talk about that more in a future video. Also, with having the slat wall right up above your work area, it makes it really nice and easy to just grab the bits that you need, to grab the templates that you need, and you can do things like hang template tape on here as well. And I did want to remind you guys that the Mobile Solutions Smart Frame System Axis Shape Creator is currently on sale, but it's only on sale for the next couple of days, so I just want to make sure you guys don't miss out on it. It's only on sale for car audio fabrication fans, so again, be sure to check that out down below. You can use it to make cool shapes like this. This is actually something that I might be using on Project Jeep Build for the amplifier rack. I don't know, we'll have to see. Kind of trying to decide if I like this shape still. Thank you guys again for watching. Now that I finally have my routers and everything done, we can get back onto Project Rebuild. We can get back onto the Jeep build. I know you guys are hurting for those videos, so those are coming soon. Thank you guys again for watching.